Hello, Cule family, like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we will talk about a major recruitment coup for Barcelona, but first, we have other topics that are also very important for our beloved club. Let's move on to the first one. The departure of Ferran Torres from Barcelona is beginning to take shape as one of the major operations of the summer, not so much for its media impact, but for what it represents in the new roadmap that the Blaugrana club is implementing with Hansi Flick already at the helm and a renewed project in the takeoff phase. This decision has not only economic or sporting implications, but it is a symbol of the new direction that Barcelona is taking. The determination to set a departure price of €50 million for Ferran is clear proof of institutional maturity, technical criteria, and, above all, a new rational ambition that prioritizes the collective over the individual. Ferran has had one of his best seasons since his arrival at Barcelona, with figures that attest to his contribution: 19 goals and 7 assists in 45 matches. His performance has been remarkable, and his ability to adapt to different positions on the offensive front has offered coaches a very valuable tactical tool. However, in a club like Barcelona, it is not enough to be useful. One must be decisive, and that is precisely the line that marks the difference between team players and project pillars. Ferran, despite his evolution, has not managed to establish himself as an indispensable player. With the arrival of Flick, the entire football ecosystem of the team has begun to be redefined. It is no longer just about talent, but about functional suitability within a very specific game idea. The German coach seeks dynamism, tactical intelligence, high pressing, and controlled verticality. He wants profiles capable of sustaining this intensity for 90 minutes, who become strategic pieces within a choral system. In this new scenario, Ferran does not seem to have a guaranteed role, and this, in a team that needs to be streamlined and optimized, makes his departure not only understandable but also necessary. Selling Ferran for €50 million would be an impeccable operation. First, because it would allow the club to obtain a considerable sum that could be reinvested in improving specific areas of the field. Second, because it would lighten the team's wage bill, key at a time when financial space is needed to register new signings and balance the accounts with the league. And finally, because it would free up a spot for a profile more suited to what Flick is looking for. It is not about getting rid of Ferran due to a lack of quality, but about reorganizing resources based on a higher idea. Moreover, Barcelona is beginning to make it clear that its management model has changed. The times when players were retained for what they cost or due to external pressures are over. Now, the club acts with criteria, evaluating performance, projection, and tactical suitability. Ferran had his chance, he improved, but he did not convince enough to continue being a future investment. It is not a personal matter, but a strategic one. His sale is not made from failure, but from a serene analysis, and this, in an historically emotional environment like Barcelona's, is a giant step. On the other hand, it is also necessary to evaluate the player's attitude. Ferran has always been professional, worked with humility, and generated no conflicts, either outside or inside the locker room. His involvement has been beyond doubt, and this deserves recognition. But sometimes, even when goodwill and commitment are present, the fit is not perfect, and high-level football demands perfection in every cog. It is not enough to add, one must multiply. At this stage, it is also necessary to look to the future. Barcelona has a project that is no longer based on names, but on ideas, a project that has decided to look forward without fear, without attachments. The possible departure of Ferran is part of this change in mentality. It is a clear message. Here, only those who can make a difference in Flick's model stay. Here, we bet on players who integrate like precision pieces in a machinery that must regain its splendor and continental ambition. And this is where the supporters have a key role, because this new stage also requires maturity from the stands. It demands that the Cules understand that not all popular decisions are the most beneficial and that sometimes, one must say goodbye to beloved players to build something greater. That is why we ask a direct question. What do you think, Cules, of this decision? Do you find the sale of Ferran for €50 million judicious? Do you think the club is acting intelligently by taking advantage of his good moment in the market to obtain economic returns? The answers may vary, but a consensus is beginning to consolidate. Barcelona is no longer in survival mode, but in reconstruction mode. And reconstructing implies carefully selecting each brick of the new building. Ferran, as useful as he has been, does not seem to be the type of brick that Flick wants for his architecture. And if a club is willing to pay the right price for him, there is nothing to reproach. All that remains is to thank him and look forward. Furthermore, we cannot ignore the club's economic context. Although the situation has improved, financial discipline is still necessary. It is not about selling for the sake of selling, but doing so intelligently. And in the case of Ferran, all the conditions are met. A player with a good market, acceptable performance, a long contract until 2027 that allows negotiating from a position of strength, and a salary that can open space for other incorporations. Everything fits, everything adds up. The market has already started to move, and many clubs are interested in Ferran. His time at Manchester City gives him prestige, his age still offers room for evolution, and his recent performance makes him an attractive asset. It would not be strange for offers to arrive even above the minimum set by the club. But Barcelona is not in a hurry. It knows what Ferran is worth, what Flick wants, and that it is not just about selling, but doing it well. In summary, the possible departure of Ferran Torres should be interpreted as a step forward, as proof that Barcelona is making decisions with its head, with ambition, and with a sense of project. It is not a sale out of desperate necessity, but a strategic bet for a better future. And this, at this moment of transformation, is worth more than any number. Thus, it is time for the Cules to unite around this new vision, to understand that building a winning Barcelona requires determination, even when it involves saying goodbye to valuable players. Ferran leaves with respect, but also with the conviction that Barcelona is made for more. The second piece of news concerns a very important decision for our club. Barcelona, as a major protagonist in Spanish and European football, has placed itself at the center of attention in the transfer market with a very serious and concrete interest: the incorporation of Aymeric Laporte. This central defender, who has amply demonstrated his quality and reliability in high-level competitions, has become one of the club's priority targets, especially under the direction of coach Hansi Flick, who has expressly requested to strengthen the defense with a player of his characteristics. The importance of this recruitment lies not only in the player's profile, but also in the opportunity it represents for Barcelona to directly compete with its great rival, Real Madrid, in a sporting and strategic battle that could shape the course of both clubs for the coming seasons. For weeks, the club's offices have been working firmly to carry out an operation that will not only improve the team's performance but also send a clear and forceful message to other competitors. Barcelona is determined to regain its status as a global power and, to do so, must have players who bring experience, quality, and leadership on the field. Aymeric Laporte possesses all these qualities, which is why the club's bet is so firm and convinced. At 31 years old, with a proven competitive level in England and a solid career that includes successful experiences in elite clubs, Laporte is the type of player who can make a difference and bring the defensive solidity that Barcelona needs to aspire to all titles. Laporte's return to European football is not just a sporting matter, but also an opportunity for Barcelona to consolidate a defensive block capable of competing on equal terms with the best teams on the continent. Last season clearly showed that to win major championships, an impenetrable defense is necessary, and that strength in this line is fundamental to withstand the pressure of the most demanding competitions. This is why the arrival of a player with the experience and caliber of Laporte is excellent news that opens up many hopes among supporters and experts. It is important to emphasize that the position of central defender is one of the most valued and key in the game scheme designed by Hansi Flick. The German coach, with his extensive experience and ability to get the best out of his players, considers Laporte the perfect complement to strengthen the backline. His vision of the game, his ability to anticipate actions, his precision in passing, and his physical strength are qualities that fit perfectly into the style of play that is sought to be implemented. Moreover, the maturity and leadership that a player of his caliber brings will help raise the level of the entire team, especially the younger players, whom he can guide both on and off the field. Laporte's contractual situation with his current club in Saudi Arabia adds complexity but also interest to the operation. Although he has a contract until 2026, the defender has repeatedly expressed his desire to return to Europe to continue competing at the highest level. His adaptation to his current environment has not been ideal, and this factor, combined with his sporting ambition, makes him a motivated and determined player to give a new impetus to his career in a club with history, prestige, and real ambitions like Barcelona. This circumstance can facilitate negotiations and place Barcelona in a favorable position to finalize the incorporation under advantageous conditions. Barcelona's interest in Laporte is also clear proof that the club is not willing to cede ground in the dispute with Real Madrid, which has shown a preference for younger players to renew its defense. This difference in sporting strategy demonstrates that Barcelona is betting on a balance between experience and youth, understanding that to dominate again in Spain and Europe, players capable of providing security and reliability in every match are needed. In this sense, the arrival of Laporte represents an immediate and significant reinforcement, capable of influencing the collective performance and results of the team. The Cule supporters have much to say and opine about this possible incorporation. The enthusiasm generated by the arrival of a player of Laporte's quality is enormous and represents an opportunity to dream once again of a defense that is a true wall against rivals. The supporters know well that defensive stability is the foundation on which great successes are built, and that having a player with the experience and leadership capacity of Laporte is an indispensable step to consolidate a winning project. At this crucial moment, the opinion and support of the supporters are more important than ever, as the team needs to feel this collective strength and unconditional support that a passionate fan base can offer. Moreover, the arrival of Laporte can dynamize the transfer market in a Blaugrana key, generating a positive effect on the team's confidence and on the external perception of the sporting project. A player of his level not only brings quality but also attracts other footballers and generates an environment of ambition and demand. Barcelona wants to become a global reference again, and for this, it is fundamental to build a balanced, competitive, and personality-driven team. Laporte fits perfectly into this idea and can become one of the fundamental pillars of the defense, bringing regularity, experience, and leadership in key moments. It is pertinent to emphasize that the incorporation of Laporte is not a simple recruitment but an operation that involves a clear declaration of intentions. Barcelona sends a direct message to the competition, especially to Real Madrid, demonstrating that it has the capacity for reaction, the resources, and the determination to strengthen the most sensitive and necessary positions. The defense, which has been a source of concern in previous seasons, will now be one of the team's strong points thanks to players who know how to compete at the highest level and who fully understand what it means to defend the club's colors. From the club, they are working with illusion and dedication to finalize this recruitment, aware that it will be a key piece for the upcoming season. The technical body, led by Hansi Flick, highly values Laporte's qualities and is confident that his incorporation will raise the collective level, improve results, and, above all, restore the necessary confidence and security to face all challenges with guarantees. The combination of experience, talent, and commitment will undoubtedly be one of Barcelona's most important weapons in its fight for titles. The arrival of Laporte can be the beginning of a deep defensive renovation that allows Barcelona to regain the strength and balance that it has lacked in decisive moments. With this recruitment, the club takes a firm step towards consolidating a solid and competitive bloc, capable of facing great rivals and competing in the maximum European competition with real options for success. The third piece of news concerns a major recruitment coup for Barcelona. Barcelona has initiated a new era, an era marked by seriousness, strategic planning, and technical direction that seeks to regain dominance in Spain and Europe through order, intensity, and the associative play that has always characterized the club. Hansi Flick, the new commander of the Blaugrana bench, has begun to move the pieces and precisely identify the areas of the field where it is necessary to strengthen the project. One of them is undoubtedly the left-back position. In this context, a name has emerged with strength, reliability, and a projection that has not escaped either the club's recruiters or the coach himself, Alvaro Carreras. While the media in the capital are quick to announce that Real Madrid has secured his signature, the truth is that Barcelona has joined the battle for the promising left-back with firm conviction, supported by an exhaustive sports analysis. The Blaugrana interest is neither improvised nor reactive, but the result of detailed monitoring of the player's performance during his time at Benfica. Flick has been clear with the management. Carreras is a priority, a piece that would fit perfectly into his tactical system, and the club must act with agility if it does not want to miss out on one of the most interesting young profiles on the market. Alvaro Carreras represents many things. He represents the new generation of fullbacks, with technique, deployment, aggressiveness, and the ability to join the attack without neglecting defensive solidity. He also represents a bet on the present and the future, something that Barcelona has turned into a sign of identity for years. His performance in Portuguese football has been impeccable. Security in one-on-one situations, tactical intelligence, peripheral vision to associate with the interior, and enough courage to become a differential player on the flank. Contrary to what some sectors of Madridismo try to sell as a closed operation, the reality is that the recruitment is open and in dispute, and Barcelona, knowing that it has the support of a demanding technician like Flick, is determined to fight until the end. It is not just another reinforcement but a declaration of intentions. In recent years, the club has demonstrated that it knows how to win these battles. It has done so before by betting on young talents, convincing players with real projects and not just exorbitant figures. Hansi Flick has identified in Carreras the ideal fullback for the model he wants to build. The German does not want improvisations. Every reinforcement he requests has a tactical reason behind it. Carreras is a left-back who can act as a winger in a line of 5 or as a pure fullback in a 4-man defense. He has the ability to defend large spaces, interprets cover very well when the center-back steps out, and, above all, has a powerful stride that transforms him into a dagger on the flank when the team attacks. His profile is perfect for the new Barcelona: defensive order, competitive pace, and depth. The Blaugrana interest comes in a context where the club is regaining its competitive identity. The arrival of Flick has brought a renovation of methods, a demand in training, and clarity in the tactical vision that excites the cool environment. The German has not come to improvise or experiment, but to bring Barcelona back to the top. And for this, he needs tactical soldiers like Carreras, a player who not only defends with intensity but also has the criteria to play the ball out, something indispensable for playing in this team. Moreover, from the management, it is highly valued that Carreras is a player who has known how to grow in demanding contexts, far from his comfort zone. He is not a product inflated by marketing or a passing fad, but a footballer who has built his career with effort, solid matches, and performances that have earned him a place among the most interesting names in the European market. This also pleases the Blaugrana environment, where professionalism, humility, and work mentality are valued. Barcelona, unlike other clubs that prioritize media exposure or galactic recruitments, builds from the concept, coherence, and a clear idea. And in this idea, Carreras has his place as a key piece, not as a substitute or a patch, but as a player with a leading role. Flick wants to strengthen specific areas with specific profiles, and in this planning, the left back is fundamental, especially considering the intensity of the calendar, the demand of European competitions, and the need to have versatile teams. Real Madrid, as expected, has tried to move quickly to prevent Barcelona from securing the player's services. They have leaked, pressured, and circulated millionaire figures in the affiliated media, but what they cannot disguise is that the Chamartin sporting project, despite the recruitments announced with fanfare, does not have the coherence or tactical solidity that the new Blaugrana project offers today. Carreras and his entourage know that in Barcelona, there is a real bet on football, on individual development, and on a system that favors the player's growth. Florentino Perez, true to his style, has attempted a preemptive maneuver to snatch one of Barcelona's priorities, but it is no longer that simple. The Catalan club has strengthened its internal structures, regained its power of seduction, and has once again become a preferred destination for young European talents. Carreras knows this, and that is why he has not closed anything yet. The player's entourage is carefully evaluating every detail: sporting project, real minutes, individual evolution plan, and in all these aspects, Barcelona starts with an advantage. The question we now ask ourselves as supporters is clear: should Barcelona make an effort to recruit Alvaro Carreras? Is he the type of player we need to consolidate the left flank of the team? What do you think, Kules? Are you excited about the possibility of having a fullback with European projection, young, intense, tactically reliable, and with the hunger to grow under Flick's direction? For many, the answer is a resounding yes, because Carreras would not only fit into the team but could become a structural piece of the system. Because he represents the type of recruitment that Barcelona must make, a well-worked young talent, with medium and long-term projection and specific tactical conditions. The recruitment of Carreras by Barcelona would also be an important symbolic coup. It is not just about bringing in a good fullback but also showing that the ball is also rolling in the offices, and this time, the match is played for a gem that can shine with its own light in the temple of offensive football. We want Alvaro Carreras at the Camp Nou. The answer is in the heart of every Kuhl, but everything indicates that if he arrives, he will not only fit in but will also seduce. Leave us your opinion in the comments.